Hey friends, welcome and welcome back. My name is Donna and welcome to Donna's Bookshed. Today's video we're going to be doing some book mail, either books I received or a few of them that I purchased. So stay tuned. Okay, so the first set of books we're going to talk about is ones that I have purchased so far this year. This is not all of them. I think there are a couple other books that I purchased that are not going to be featured in this video. But you guys have already seen them, like this one, Death of the Author, which I read and loved, as well as James by Percival Everett. I have purchased and read both of them already, but these are some other books that I've gotten since then. And I haven't gone too crazy because this is a low book buying year for me. So I went a little bit crazy last year with the amount of books that I bought, and now my shelf is full of books that I haven't read, and I really want to cut that number down. So to help me with that, this year I am aiming to buy less books, and my goal is that if I buy books this year, I have to read them this year. So I can either buy them, like I start reading the book, I love the book, I know it's going to be an amazing read for me, and I buy them, or I read them and I love them and then I get them. Otherwise, I am making some list of books that I really want to get, and then at the end of the year, when it's closer to my birthday, I'll go buy those books as a treat to myself. But in the meantime, outside of that goal, because I love books so much and I enjoy buying books as much as I enjoy reading them, I have to scratch that itch every now and again. So because of that, I have managed to purchase a few, not too many, a few books. But the good thing is that a lot of these books I've been able to get them at either really good discount prices, or the prices weren't necessarily discount, but they were just like reasonable prices to begin with. So without further ado, let's get into these books. And let me just say now, I may not be able to tell you what most of these books are about right now. I just know they're books that I've seen, I liked, I had them on my list, and I got them. Or maybe a couple of them I've seen them around, and I was a little bit curious, so let me purchase them. I am not a big synopsis reader, so if I get book recommendations from YouTube and Bookstagram, right? So if I see a book and whatever the person that's reviewing the book says about the book catches my interest, then I'm gonna add it to my TBR. Every now and again, I'll come across a book where, the picture, the cover of the book looks really interesting, and I start reading the synopsis. And once I get enough of the synopsis that I know this is a book I'm going to be interested in, this is going to be a book that I like, I'll just add it to my TBR. Right, so I'm not the biggest synopsis reader. I hate when I read a synopsis and it tells me the synopsis is long as hell and it's telling me everything that's going to happen in the book. I don't like that. I like to go in blind. I like to have a general idea. Hey, this is a romance. Hey, this is a poly romance. Hey, this is paranormal romance. Hey, this is a fantasy with magic. Hey, this is a dystopian fantasy. Just give me like general things what the book is about, and I'll be good. Hey, this is a family drama. These sisters haven't seen each other. They haven't spoken to each other in 10 years. That's good enough for me. That's good enough for me. I like to go in a book, get surprised. I like the author and the story to just take me on a journey, and it's either I'm going to enjoy the journey or I'm not. And so far, that's been working out for me. So anyway, the first book I got, which is actually the last book I picked up, is called Milk, Blood, Heat. And I picked up this one. I got this one in Goodwill, and I got it for $1.99. And when I saw this book, I couldn't remember what it was about, but I remember seeing this cover somewhere, and I remember adding it to my TBR like a while ago. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, this looks familiar, let me pick it up. And so I just grabbed it off the shelf. I logged into my account. I was like, oh yes, this is on my TBR. Here, I usually put it on Goodreads. I was like, this is my TBR on Goodreads. I have a TBR on Storygraph too, but I don't usually remember to update my TBR there that much, so that's the only reason why I look for my TBR on Goodreads. But I looked, I was like, oh, it's there, let me grab it. And in this one, let me tell you, it's set in Florida, and it is a set of short story collection. It looks like it says the ordinary worlds of young girls, women, and men who find themselves confronted by extraordinary moments of violent personal reckoning. These intimate portraits of people and relationships scour and soothe and blast a light on the nature of family, faith, forgiveness, consumption, and what we may or may not owe one another. Yep, and that was all. That was all it took. Whatever, the first time I saw this book and I read the synopsis or piece of it, it was enough to hold my interest. Right, the next book I got, which I also got from Goodwill, and I paid 99 cents for this one, is The Way I Used to Be. And I remember I've seen this one around on the shelves, like in Walmart a lot, and I just looked at it and I was like, ah, it looked familiar. And then I remember when I had whatever read or seen a little bit of it from before, it's about, if I'm not mistaken, it's about this young girl that was raped, and this is her story about what her life was before that incident happened, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that's it. Says it in the first paragraph, right? So in this book, it says Eden was always good at being good. Starting high school didn't change who she was, but the night her brother's best friend hours her, Eden's world capsizes. And this is just a book I picked up for whenever I'm in that mood that I want a little more sad, melancholy, depressed type of story. That's when I grab that book. Other than that, it's just probably going to be on my shelf for a while. Another book I got was Miss Pearly Girls by Rashonda Tate Billingsley, and I got this one from one of those discount stores, and I'm pretty sure I only paid like $2 or $3 for this one, but I did read this book and it was a good time. It was a good time and I loved it. I did a buddy read with one of my Bookstagram friends for this book, and let me tell you, this book, it looks small, but there's a lot happening in here. So basically in this book, Miss Pearly, she gets sick. She gets taken to the hospital, and her eldest daughter, who lives with her, calls her other sisters to come in, and she has like 1, 2, 3 other sisters, so it's 4 girls and all. And the cover, honestly, the cover's pretty, but this part of the cover here, it honestly does not showcase the women and their personalities and their style as described in this book. But that is neither here nor there. Just know that these sisters have a lot of baggage, and while Miss Pearly is, she's in a hospital fighting for her life, she basically tells them, hey, it's time to let all these secrets out, and you all need to be able to come together as sisters. So, everybody's thinking that their secrets is not that bad, that it couldn't be their secret the man was talking about. But lo and behold, everything starts to come out, and let's just say I was like, for a portion of this book, there's so many things that happen in here, and the writing is so interesting, the story flows so well, we get a little bit of their past, a little bit of their present, and it's an awesome read. So if you're seeing this book for the first time, take this as me encouraging you to go find this book wherever you may and get your read on. It's a great read, and it was a fantastic buddy read because there were so many things for us to talk about with each other based on this book. Another book I picked up, and I got this one in Goodwill, and look at the pristine condition. This book looks like it wasn't even opened and read, and that is Gideon the Knight. And I know this book has been floating around for quite some time, and I actually own this book on my Kindle, and I tried to listen to it on audiobook once, and I think I got maybe the first or second chapter, and I was like, what is happening? What is going on in this book? I don't know, I was confused. I just couldn't get it, and I just returned the audiobook and kept moving with my life. And I felt like this is one of those books I need to have the physical book in my hand to actually like read and see the words with my eyeballs so I can follow along what is happening. So because of that, I never read it, but I own Nona the Ninth, which is another book. I think that's the 3rd book in this series. But I got that book from a free library because I already had those books on my Kindle. I was like, oh, like, So now I have Gideon the Knight. I have more incentive to actually get into this series. And as far as I know, this is a fantasy series. It says, the Emperor needs necromancers. The 9th necromancer needs a swordswoman. Gideon has a sword, some dirty magazines, and no more time for undead nonsense. So it says Gideon the Knight unveils a solar system of swordplay, cutthroat politics, and lesbian necromancers. Her characters leap off the page as skillfully animated as necromantic skeletons. Hey, so it's supposed to be a good fantasy. I've heard a lot of people talking about this, so hopefully I will like it too. The next book I got, I purchased this one on Amazon. It is called, I think it was, Amazon, Secrets of a Billionaire Bishop. I came across this book on TikTok, and I saw someone did a little review of it. Not really a review, they just give like, hey, you should read this book because it's really good, it's interesting, it's drama. And I just liked the title and the cover. And I went on Amazon, the price was really decent, and I was like, hey, I'm going to give it a shot. And it says, deep in the heart of Texas, world-renowned televangelist, bishop, and billionaire Anthony Fuller's new young wife has been found murdered in their multi-million-dollar estate in Dallas. With the murder of his wife, Bishop Fuller's skeletons come charging out of the closet, threatening to expose all his devious secrets and lustful ways. What will the murder of the bishop's wife cost him and all those who love and support him? And this is the author's first novel. So I think it's a short one, and it sounds really interesting in the premise. I like the cover, so I think I'll have a good time. And this is one that I actually want to read in the near future. Maybe not this month, but it might be like an April or May read for me. And then the last book I purchased for myself is called My Soul to Keep by Tanana Review. And last year, her novel, it's up there, you can see, The Reformatory, was actually my favorite book of the year last year. And that was the first book I read by this author. And now I heard that she has many other wonderful books to read. So I was just looking for something more to read by this author, something to follow up that book. Not necessarily has to be the same story or the same kind of story, just, to get into the author's work, to see if I like her writing or if that was just a one-off. And then I heard that this one is a really good book. It is a fantasy, I believe. Let me see. It says, Jessica is an African-American journalist as ambitious as she is bright. She is chasing the biggest story of her life, a story that strikes closer to home than she knows. DeWitt is an immortal whose ancient thirst for wisdom leads him to break the first commandment of his kind, not to fall in love. Together, they are about to pay the ultimate price for their ambition and their desire. And I heard this book is actually really, really good, so I can't wait to get into it. Okay, so next up, we're going to get into some books that I was gifted either by publishers or some promotional talk companies over the past couple months, over the past 2 months. So first up, which will be something that I'm reading in the very near future, is Camilla Nunez's Year of Disaster, and it is by Miriam Zola Perez, and I got an advanced reader copy of this novel. It says, a sweet 16 just isn't in the tarot cards. Cuban-American Camilla has always been afraid of the future. She's been working hard to keep her anxieties in check, but with so many new experiences, her first square love, trouble with her dog walking job, her mother's judgments about her body, learning to drive, her father being too busy with work, there's just so much to worry about. When her best friend gives her a tarot card reading for her 16th birthday, she believes it when the cards predict terrible things to come. As the year unfolds, the cards seem to be spot on. Is her pappy having an affair? Will her best friend's love life ruin their friendship? Are all her relationships doomed to fail? And this just sounds like a fun YA that's just going to be a nice kind of coming of age, her navigating this part of her life. So I think I'm going to have a fun time with this one. And this book is coming out in April. It's actually not April, it's coming out at the end of March. So I can't wait to get into it. This will really be a book that I'm reading very soon. Another book that will also be coming out very soon that I will be reading in the next week or two is called The Prince Without Sorrow, with Jessica. And this one, was a fantasy as well, and it says a prince is born into violence seeking peace. Prince Ashoka is the youngest son of the tyrannical emperor Adil Mora, considered an outcast by his father for his rejection of the emperor's brutal onslaught against the witches of the empire. Ashoka longs for change. When the sudden and unexpected death of his father leaves the monarchy in disarray, Ashoka is sent to govern a tumultuous region annexed by Emperor Adil that is terrorized by nature spirits, a task many see as doomed to fail. Regarded with suspicion by a disdainful governor and evaded by distrustful witches, Ashoka must question his rigid ideals and fight against becoming the one person he despises most, his father. So yeah, and then I guess the other POV is going to be a witch. So this sounds like a romantic kind of, and I am looking forward to it. I thought the cover was so cute and endearing, except there's a snake on there, so I don't know why. It looked like a dragon snake and a day. But we'll see how it goes. I will also be reading this pretty soon. Another book I received, and those were from publishers. These next ones are also from publishers. This one is Advanced Reader Edition. This goes on sale on March 25th, 2025, and it's called Exquisite Ruin by Adrienne May. It says, he is a demigod in demonic form, a ray of light forged into a quicksilver blade. I nearly want to open my throat against the edge of him, but not to betray him, not again. So they said this one throws forced proximity, kink in a fantasy setting, a hooved and horned demon who hates her, lovers to enemies to lovers to enemies to question mark, a sorceress with amnesia, and a pug in disguise. So this one sounds like I'm about to have a grand old time. Right, so these three books are going to be my next reads. Then I was able to receive a copy of Siesta. It is the Five Queendoms book 3, and it's by G.R. McAllister, and this one comes out on May 13, 2025, and I have heard a lot of things about this series, this Five Queendoms series. I think the first one was I don't want to butcher the name. I don't want to butcher the name, so let me look it up. It's Corpica, Arca, and then Cestia. So I will be getting this series, and I have heard some good things about this series, so I can't wait to dive in and see how I like it. I believe it's a fantasy series where each queen rules their own queendom and they have to get together because something is happening. So it says, while a fragile peace has begun to settle across the 5 queendoms of the known world, trouble brews beneath the smooth facade. The first gate between the underlands where Eresh rules over the shades of the dead has already been opened, and the scheming shade of a dead sorcerer has evil plans he hopes to unleash on the world. In the above ground, the Scorpicae struggle to find a path forward in defeat as the embattled region of Paxim gets more than she bargained for. Next up, I received these books from one of book touring company, and it is called The American Queen and The Filling Station by Vanessa Miller. I have read both of these two books. They are historical fictions, and I absolutely loved both of them. They were both 5-star reads to me. The first one talks about a place called Happy Land in North Carolina, where these formerly enslaved people migrated to, and they were able to make a deal to purchase some land, clear it, and build up a community for themselves by themselves. And I loved it. And we get the story of Luella and her husband, and they were the kings and queens of this land and this community, and just how they just built it and made a place of family and security for their people. I loved it. It's an awesome thing. And the fact that these books are literally based on real world historical events is just told in a fictional form is so amazing. Like, this author is so gifted at telling these kind of stories. I would definitely read more books from her. And then the filling station. This one is surrounding the Tulsa Race Massacre that happened, I believe, in 1921. And it starts off with in this wonderful community, and then the massacre happens, and we follow these two sisters as they have to recover and rebuild from that tragedy. This book is very touching. It talks about all the tragedy that happens, but we get also the human story of these sisters and what they really had to go through, not just to rebuild, but also be able to move forward in their life, finding love, deciding what kind of finding love, religion, not really religion, but more so the relationship with God and stuff like that, as well as rebuilding their community and learning who they can trust again to move forward. And it was a really, really sweet book. I loved it. Next up, I got this book on accident from the publisher. I had requested a different book, but they accidentally sent me this one, and it is called Sir Lewis by Michael E. Sawyer. And this book is about a race car driver called Sir Lewis. Now, I don't know anything about race car driving. I have been to like one race in my life, and I mean, it was a fun time. It was exciting seeing them, driving that quickly, taking those turns and stuff. But since it's about his life, I am open to reading and learning about it. I don't think this is not his original biography, because I believe I read some of the reviews that said that this person basically is for beginners like me who don't really know anything about him, so like, or whatever public information is already out there is just in one book. So I'll give this one a try and see, and then hey, it could count towards my non-fiction reading goals for the year. And then finally, the last set of books that I received were in a book box from the novel, and basically they're book box. They're not really, I don't want to say it's a subscription. Basically, they make these book boxes and they give away books from them every month, and we as a public, you apply and you can win. And they had reached out to me and sent me these books, and I was happy to receive them. So in the box, it is a fantasy. All these books are fantasy in here. The first one is Scavenge the Scars by Tara Sim. So revenge is never enough. And this one says, to inherit the sky, you must scavenge the stars. When Amaya rescues a mysterious stranger from drowning, she fears her rash actions have earned her an even longer sentence on the debtor ship, where she's been held captive for years. Instead, the man she saved offers her unimaginable riches and a new identity, setting Amaya on a perilous course through the coastal city-state of Moray, where old world opulence and desperate gamblers collide. Right, that's the first one. Next, we got an advanced reader copy of To Steal from Thieves by M.K. Lobb. And this one is coming out in March as well. And it says, in this high-stakes heist novel, an alchemologist and a conman team up to steal a rare necklace, but complicated feelings of attraction and deception threaten to destroy everything and everyone they love. So it's giving a little high stakes romance. Yeah, a little high stakes romance. Love to see it. And then finally in this box, I got this duology from Camilla Cole, who is also the author that curated the February box for this company, and it's called So Let Them Burn, and this ends in Embers, and it's the deluxe edition of the first book and a hardback of the second book. And this one is a fantasy duology, and it talks about dragons. These girls are living in a country that is basically at war with their colonizers, and they both have dragons, and it's a fight to the end to see what's going to happen. And I read this book earlier this year. I read last year, and then I reread it, and then read the second book this year, and I liked it and enjoyed it. And actually, I already have a copy of these on my shelf that you can't see from here, but I have like 2 copies of So Let Them Burn, because I had the the hardback I bought last year, and then I got the deluxe edition, and then I have this Ensign Ember. So I would probably do a giveaway for someone for these two beautiful, beautiful covers. Yeah, and that was about it for this video. So anyway, thank you guys for sticking around and watching all of my book mail so far for the year, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.